Good morning. I'm coming to you this Friday, February 21, 2020, in episode 29 with the sounds of Jerusalem. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a story about the bracelets and a pilgrim's story from Jerusalem. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain how I found out about this. It's free. It's on your app store. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right now from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Please, I urge you, don't waste another minute. I wasted 3 years. I attended all kinds of events to learn all the steps. I was so confused, and it was right here. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Do it now. The sounds of Jerusalem. Birds, music, trumpets, the harp, street performers. And then you go into the souk, the bazaar. I've never told this story before because I just learned about it. It's about someone that I know that made a pilgrimage to Jerusalem recently. And upon her return, she presented us with a gift, a bracelet. She had several bracelets, but we could only choose one. So I looked at her little bag of bracelets, and I chose one. It was gold with like blue little round intervals throughout it. It was different, something I'd never seen before. It looked like it was something from the old city, and I placed it on my mother's wrist. I would have liked that bracelet for myself, but I thought my mom would like it more since the gift was from her only sister. The other bracelets were for my aunt's grandchildren. She had gone to Jerusalem just a few weeks ago with a group from her church. It was her second trip, and she shared with us what they did on the trip, where they went, and the difficulty of walking there, the stone paved streets. She said, I just don't know how people can walk over there. She even shared with us that someone from her group had to be left behind because she fell and broke both knees. I never thought that walking to holy sites would be so difficult. Of course, I was not there. I hadn't been there. I was very young when I was there, so I wouldn't have a problem, as someone might as you get older and up in age. But everyone that visits talks about going to the old quarter, going to the souks, going to the bazaars. And there are many stories, I'm sure, from the Jaffa Gate to the Damascus Gate, to the Church of Holy Sepulchre. But this story is going to be about the bracelets. It's a sad story because it was the intention to bring something back from the old city so that you can share it as a gift with someone that was special to you. So as it would happen on this recent trip, a purchase was made on her debit card for several bracelets. But she needed one more. So when she came back to the United States, she began her hunt for another bracelet for her 40-year-old granddaughter. Because she had 3 granddaughters, but only 2 bracelets. While she was there, her bank card got denied after her first purchase. So she could only use her cash, and that's why she couldn't make that last purchase of the 3rd bracelet that she needed. When she came back and she went to her bank, they said they had decided to freeze her account. She had made a $2,000 purchase, and they thought there was something wrong. Since she hadn't notified them that she would be traveling overseas, they automatically shut down the card. And it's a good thing that they did, because she would have continued spending. Yesterday, we went looking for an additional bracelet. And as it would happen, we brought along the other 2 bracelets that were purchased in Jerusalem. They were presented to the jewelry store, 2 of them, and asked for an evaluation of how much they were worth, in the hopes of selling maybe one. And we were very disappointed to learn that the purchase price was actually 3 times more than the actual value. She had been had. It wasn't even real gold. It was maybe 14 karat gold, perhaps gold plated. It was not a good time to make any additional purchases. So we decided to go to lunch and think about what we learned and the lesson that when you go to purchase something and you're traveling, go with someone who knows the vendor. Only buy from people that you like. And make sure that you check the price of gold, which is sold by weight. It was a very valuable lesson, and I hope one that you don't have to learn, and that you will think about when you go on your journeys and purchase jewelry. Jewelry is a very personal item that you buy for someone that you love. I remember when I was a little girl, one of the first gifts that my aunt actually gave me was a necklace. It was a beautiful, beautiful necklace. I wore it to school. I might have been in the 7th or 8th grade. And when I went to gym, I put the necklace in my locker to take a shower. And our lockers didn't have locks on them. When I returned, the necklace was gone. I hadn't even had that necklace a half a day, and it was gone. The first and only gift that I had received from my aunt. And I could never tell her. So my aunt continues her love of jewelry and making purchases and making sure that she brings a very thoughtful gift. But the 2 bracelets that she had purchased in Jerusalem had cost her over $1,000 a piece. And they were worth maybe less than $300. I don't think even that. It was quite a disappointment. Now, these bracelets, we don't know what to do with. Should she give them away? Should she keep them? What should she do? We thought of going to the bank, trying to stop payment, at least letting them know of the fraud. The jeweler at the store said, you should go back, get a ticket, and go and hit that person over the head. They even suggested the next time to take them with them so that they could help us buy jewelry. Well, I don't think that a trip is in the plans for maybe another 10 years. It's not a trip that you might make every year. It's very hard to make, it's expensive, and it's not something that you could just get up and take a plane ride and go back. So what to do with the bracelets? What would you do? Would you give them away so that you wouldn't have to be reminded of the time that you were had on your vacation? Or would you keep them and said, well, since I paid so much for them, I might as well enjoy them and get something else as gifts to give away? That decision is yours. We can't tell you what to do and what's best to do. But you might consider, when choosing a gift in the future, perhaps not investing so much in an item. So now we're on the hunt for something in the $500 range. And even that I thought was a little high. I thought $100 is more than generous for a gift. Now, depending on who the family member is or how close the friend is and how much you want to spend on them, it's within your budget. Try to choose something that you can afford, something that isn't going to break the bank, and something that they might enjoy. But when you choose something for someone else, there's no guarantee that they're going to like it either. So that's something else that you also have to consider. The gift of the bracelets from Jerusalem is part of a pilgrim's story. The trip was eventful, only to learn that when they returned, others in the group found that they also had been had. It puts a damper on the trip, but you still have your photos and your memories and the hopes that the next time that you take a trip, that you'll know better because you got that education and you made the mistake and you won't be making it again. I'm Sabah Fakuri for the Heart and Home podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it and consider being a listener supporter. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.